So this is called the Cardiac Arrest Chain of Survival. So this is put out by American Heart Association, and it basically is about what are the critical links in a pathway leading up to saving a patient's life when they're having a heart attack or cardiac arrest, where they just completely fall out and don't have a pulse. So that is recognition and activation of the emergency response system. That's where you guys come in. Immediate high quality CPR. Again, someone such as yourself might be that person. There was a heart attack here just in September where the husband of the patient was actually very well adept at CPR, but because it was his wife, he was justifiably freaked out and couldn't perform CPR. But his granddaughter had learned CPR from him. She immediately put her grandmother on the ground and began performing CPR and actually saved her life. And it was really gratifying to see that patient walk out of the hospital 4 days later. The next step is rapid defibrillation. So if your patient actually does become unresponsive and they don't have a pulse, you've started CPR on that patient, we want to get that patient defibrillated or shocked as quickly as possible to restart their heart. Does anybody know, is there an AED in this building?
Yeah, we've got a couple.
So that's fantastic. Not all schools actually have an AED, but I'm sure you've seen those in and around the buildings, and we'll kind of show an example of that today. So even as a layperson, there are AEDs, which are automated defibrillators. You just have to know how to put them on and what circumstances to put them on, and they will literally talk you through shocking the patient back to life. Next thing is have an EMS show up, so your ambulance, your paramedics and EMTs, and then getting them very quickly to the hospital with advance notification to someone like myself who may be at home in bed. I get a page to my pager. We still use pagers. And potentially an EKG sent to my cell phone. That notifies me that that's what's going on with the patient, and then we're off to the races. And I'm driving into the hospital at the same time as the patient's coming into the hospital. And the last part is all that care that happens in the heart catheterization lab with me and my team, as well as the intensive care unit and the cardiac care unit afterwards. How does that patient get home? And then more importantly, what got the patient into that situation? Were they a smoker? Did they have high blood pressure? Are they diabetic that's not well controlled? And how are we going to prevent that from happening to the same person again in the future? So I'm going to click on these two links here. So this was put out by American Heart Association. Let me make sure one. Oh, I think it should be. Oh, it's not.
Sorry. It's muted.
Oh, it's muted?
Yeah.
I did not. Sorry.
It's not gonna wait. Here we go. We'll read it out like a totally normal day. Okay, move objection deadline to the third line after survey.
I'm going to speed this up just a little bit here.
Don't hit your brother. You have to eat something. Here. Okay, 5 minutes to carpool.
You okay, Mom?
Oh, I'm fine. Sandwich orders. What do you want?
Almond butter and jelly. Okay. You sure you're okay?
I'm fine, sweetie.
I am so late. What are you doing? Hey, honey. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure?
Oh, yeah. Here.
Acai, my favorite. See you guys later.
Where are your shoes? Put your shoes back on, please. You know, come help your sister. We're going in 3 minutes. Oh my God, what am I doing? I forgot to cut off the crust. Voila. Shoes on, potty if you need it. Honey, get your sister. Okay, here. Nobody move. I'm getting a dusty.
Mom! I think you're having a heart attack.
Honey, the person who has a heart attack. Totally fine. Don't forget to wear the high socks with the shin
guards. Forget about the shin guards, Mom.
Come on, Mrs. Underdog is not gonna wait. Hi, sorry to bother you. I think I might be having a little heart attack. Nothing really, just some nausea, tightening of the jaw, dizziness, shortness of breath, muscle pain, achiness, this terrible pressure in my chest. Oh, really? They can be here in how long? 2 minutes. Oh my gosh. Can you make it 10? I thought I...
Alright, so, kind of just poking fun at the situation there. But truly this video was made to, let's see if I can, there we go. The video was made by American Heart Association to raise awareness that symptoms are not always classic in patients. So the older we get, the more likely we are to present with a heart attack with shortness of breath. Actually, if you're a diabetic patient, you may not get chest discomfort, so you might have more shortness of breath than anything. Lives are busy. Heads of household are often frequently putting their families before themselves and may not be recognizing the signs of heart attack. So just shout out, what were some of the non-chest pain signs that this patient was having with her heart attack? Jaw discomfort, nausea, perfect.
Shortness of breath.
Pain in her arm, great. She's sweating a lot. And then, so you kind of got them all there. So those are the things that we want to think about with heart attack symptoms. So what would you do if someone like that was having a symptom? Those symptoms.
Call 911.
I love it. Call 911. See, there you go. If someone is, so you want to call 911. The reason why we want you to call 911 is because when they come to the scene, they actually have the capability of doing an EKG right then and there, and they can transmit that EKG to the closest hospital, someone like myself. And again, I talked about before, if I'm at home doing laundry or hanging out, it gives me a chance to get my clothes on, get into the hospital, and go from there. So this one's much shorter, but this is the second link that I wanted to show you, also put out by American Heart Association.
It's definitely a mental
Wait, you're drinking. Shirt man. The heart attack simple. Going down.
Ever happened to you? Almost amateur race based on film titles turning into a sudden cardiac event? Bam! Shiklaki! No? What? Think you're better than me? Well, it happens, all right? It's a real life situation. Got my daughters here? Call 911. Push hard and fast, okay? Focus! And yes, the beat of staying alive really works. Shut up! Disco can save lives. Yes, disco, huh? Check it out. What do you
Alright, so,
think?
kinda,
What?
thanks. Alright, so, again, put out by the American Heart Association to raise awareness about hands-only CPR. So even if you don't know how to do CPR, if you're by yourself, the key to survival from cardiac arrest is uninterrupted chest compression. So if you're grossed out by having to breathe for somebody, put your mouth on theirs or anything else like that, you don't even need a partner anymore. All you have to do is get your hands on their chest, between the breastbone, over the sternum, and we're in anatomy and physiology, so everybody should know where the sternum is. In the center, you want to push 2 inches deep, and you want to push at a rate of 100 to 120 beats per minute. And the point is, who the heck knows how fast that is, right? So if you have a song in your head, such as Staying Alive, it is 103 beats per minute, and it will literally give you a metronome to follow to know how hard to push. The key here is you saw the one daughter who was doing CPR, and when the paramedics came in, there was no interruption in those chest compressions whatsoever. You are beating that patient's heart, so you don't want to stop. It will get very tiring, so there is no shame in having people line up and literally just everyone do it for 2 minutes until the paramedics show up. Uninterrupted CPR does save lives. So you have an unresponsive patient. How do you figure out if the patient's responsive?
You do that clear thing.
We're not there yet. How do you figure out if somebody's responsive?
Feel the pulse.
I like it. That's one way. What else?
You're so smart.
Yes, looking at them, right? Like, hey, are you moving? Are you okay? That's the whole like, Annie, are you okay? Those like, hey man, you know, shake them and figure out if they're responsive. So if they don't move, they don't respond to you, they don't talk to you, if they are not appearing to be breathing, you're looking at their chest, it's not going up and down, then you can feel for a pulse. So how do you feel for a pulse?
You check theirs.
I like it. So that's one place you can check for a pulse. Where else can you check for a pulse?
Neck.
Love it. Neck, carotid artery, right? Anatomy class, everybody knows what carotid artery is. So look for the Adam's apple or that pointy part of the neck there if you have a woman, and then feel over and you can feel the carotid pulse. This is the last place you're going to lose a pulse other than your femoral artery here in your groin. Even when the blood pressure gets super, super low, you should still be able to feel a pulse here, and that's why we often will do it in the neck. But all those things will work. Okay, so you don't feel pulse, and now you're by yourself, and you've determined that the patient's clearly unresponsive. What are you going to do?
When you call 911,
Yes, you would call 911 at the same time that you would start chest compressions. So if you're by yourself and you're in a remote location, you probably need to get 911 first. If you have a cell phone, just turn it on speaker, have it beside you, and leave it on. They're going to talk to you the entire time that you're getting them to come. They'll ask you who you are, where you're located. They're going to actually help you. There are some EMS agencies that will actually talk you through how to do CPR if you've never done it before over the phone. You want to stay on the phone with them in case anything happens. So let's say that you're in this high school, you find someone that's responsive, you start that CPR, and then you tell someone to call 911, but you have something else here that other places don't have, the AED. You've probably seen these signs in the airport, casinos, a lot of places you'll see this sign that says AED, and that looks like a fire extinguisher there. It has this little box in it, and that is the automated defibrillator. So you open that up, and you get those pads on, and let's see, open those up for me. So you pull those pads out, and you get them on the patient's chest, and where would you put them on? Go ahead and take them out. Here's your world. So, using your friend here, show me where you would put them on. You don't have to stick them on, just show me the position. Also, if you look at the pads, they've got pictures on there, right?
Yes, they're here.
Convenient. Perfect. So this part that's metal here and sticky, that's the part that's actually going to shock the patient. So you'll put that on here and there. So you flip that around. There you go. All right. He's good to be shocked. So what do these do? Shock the
Send
patient?
shock waves.
Yes, perfect. So they send electricity through the body cavity to literally restart the heart. So the thing that's totally awesome about heart muscle is that it conducts electricity, which I think is pretty cool. Every once in a while that electrical activity just gets really erratic and it wants to go way faster than it's supposed to, and it's not effectively pumping any blood out of the heart or doing anything except quivering. And what you're going to do is just literally reset the entire system and hope that it starts over again. So that's what these are for. Is there any situation where you wouldn't want to put these on?
When you're not having a heart attack.
Good point. If you're conscious, right? Best not to shock your friends.